Hello to everyone on the Knowledge Exchange podcast. This is Dan, the lead mentor from the Knowledge Exchange, and I am gathered here today with a bunch of clinicians that have been transitioning into telehealth and have made the full transition just in the past few days. So I wanted to get a bit of an opinion from employees as to why they've chosen to go through this route, considering the context, and just hear their reasonings, their thought processes behind why they chose it, and also the benefits. What are the advantages? Because there is a bit of doubt as to making the full transition, and there are lots of barriers to it. So I'm really keen to dive into the topics. So we'll go with quick intros first of all. Mr. Emmanuel, give us your story, your quick story.
I'm a physiotherapist. I work on the Central Coast. Loving my job and trying to transition into telehealth pretty much.
Awesome. Thanks for making the time, man.
All good, man.
So Jeff Ruffala, tell us your story.
Hey guys, so my name is Jeff. I'm a senior exercise physiologist practicing on the Northern Beaches, working in private practice, transitioning to telehealth as well.
Awesome. And Dan Laspina.
So people refer to me as the more attractive Daniel of the group. I'm an exercise physiologist in Burwood, Sydney, and currently transitioning over to telehealth as well. I work in a private physiotherapy/EP clinic.
You've been waiting so long to say that one. Now it's in the public forum. That's fantastic. Love you, mate. Nathaniel, Mr. Chan, what's your story, mate?
Yeah. Physio in the city, have transitioned to telehealth, and I'm a physio.
Awesome. So we'll go around the crowd, the room. So I'm keen to hear, Emmanuel, what brought you to telehealth? Why did you make the transition?
Well, initially it was more so what I thought was ethically responsible as a practitioner, one. And then I had to obviously take into account the safety of my family and my patients, or take that all into account essentially, because I was thinking, it's like, what risks am I willing to take with not only my safety, but the safety of others? And it came to a very clear kind of point where I was just like, I'm not willing to take any risks at this point. And most of the people that I see, I always try to, I'm a, I don't want to touch you unless I have to kind of therapist. And I found that my job at this point in time and the way that I run things would very easily translate into telehealth. There have just been a few roadblocks, I guess, in trying to get that up and running at the moment with the current clinic that I'm working at.
So the risks kind of outweighed the pros of staying in clinic for your safety. And you've got a kid, so tell us, you've got a family?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I've got a 2-year-old little girl. My wife, she's immunocompromised, I guess, and my father's just started living with me as well, and he's over the age of 70 with cardiorespiratory issues as well. And I'm like, well, look, I obviously care about these people a lot, and it's not a risk that realistically I feel anyone should be taking, but that's my opinion. But definitely for me, that there's definitely there's no point in it for me.
Awesome. And you've already been using the kind of active approach in your practice anyway, so it was a easier kind of transition, less daunting for you, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, very much so. So the other therapists that I work with, they're very hands-on, and they're kind of in the process of, I guess, I don't want to say freaking out, but obviously being concerned about how they're going to translate their form of practice into the telehealth setting. I ended up doing an in-service with them probably about 2 months ago, non-specific low back pain, and the subjective side of things and the evidence-based practice side of things. And they were all just kind of like, you're speaking a different language essentially, but also very encouraging for me to kind of, that the telehealth aspect would probably work really well. It's just a go ahead essentially that I'm waiting for.
Gotcha. That's great to hear that you've made that decision and you are feeling confident about it. So if any of the listeners at this stage are like, I can't do this, I don't know what to do, feeling a bit lost, now's the time to just reach out to us, because there's people out there that are going to help and be able to help. So moving on to
100%.
Mr. Jeffrey.
You can call me the running EP as well. That was a bit loud. So I just wanted to say that literally my perspective on this and my decisions, my motivations have literally changed so frequently in the past, say, month, 2 weeks, based off the people that I've talked to, the information that I've gathered, and my own determination of the information that I've come across. And so I guess to really knuckle this down, I really want to just talk about, I guess, the journey and how I got here to onto telehealth. So literally about 2 weeks ago, I was taking like one-on-ones in the clinic, group classes in the clinic, and I thought of this whole COVID-19 business as like, oh, this is just the flu. It's not that big of a deal. It will just go away. I could say that a lot of people have it and had that mentality, and a lot of people took it a lot more serious than me, but I wasn't tuning into that information. So I didn't really think about the severity of it until about, say, last week. And how that came about was literally I was having a group Zoom meeting like this with yourself, Dan, and other people as well. And I also I heard about guys literally people coming to the gym and clinicians sending them away because they shouldn't be in the gym. And then I was like, wow. In my head, I was thinking, this, you really did that? And I hadn't gone to that process yet, to that thought process. And I had come across a Facebook post that that questioned my morality. And the question was, how would you feel if you found out that you were COVID-19 positive, or you tested positive for the coronavirus, and you were treating clients or patients, and you had to explain that? And that really hit home in terms of the morality of seeing clients. And after literally over the weekend, I was juggling with this moral dilemma, because in one hand, I really wanted to help people. Seeing people face to face is something that I love. It's the part of my job that I look forward to, and it really gives me a sense of fulfillment. And so, and then on the other hand, I didn't want to do any harm as well. Like so I didn't know where to sit. And then so as I was driving to work, I was literally fearful of what I was going to do with with a group class I was going to take that morning. My heart was beating. I was very anxious, and I felt like this sense of guilt. And literally started the group class. I was sitting there, I was set that I wasn't going to take anyone. The client walks in, asks like, is the group class in? Is the group class happening? And I said, yeah, it is. And this person asked me, are you okay with running it? And I said, honestly, I'm not. I really can't do it because I don't want to put yourself at risk. I don't want to put myself at risk, my family, your family, and I can't do it. And they told me, like, you know what? Like, I honestly was already in two minds coming into this, and they had a sense of relief. So it felt good for me to say that, and in a sense, it felt great for them as well. But I can't say that everyone is going to have that mentality. People still love exercise; they want to do it because it gives them fulfillment. And I truly believe we still give people choice. Ourselves as clinicians, we have a choice in what we can do in situation. I chose to stick with my own values, my value of I wanted to contribute to community, but of course I didn't want to create harm. And to me, it was a no-brainer. And to be honest, I want to really just keep it clear. The people who do decide to treat clients face to face, that doesn't mean they're bad people. No. And we don't want to create a false dichotomy where it's like it's you're with me or against me. There's this gray area that we're trying to figure out. And of course, there's the information we gather from the government that's still allowing us to that says that we're an essential service. Like, because I'm an exercise physiologist, allied health, and so if we had one person telling everyone what to do, great. Telling everyone to shut down, that would give me a great sense of relief, but that's not the case. We're at a point where we're making our own, like, people are making their own decision, and also other people waiting for their decision to be made for them. That's where I'm at.
That's awesome. It's awesome to hear the kind of emotions behind that from both your end and also the patient's end. And also it's awesome that you mentioned we're not trying to tell people what to do until the government tells us all what to do. That's the one kind of entity that can. We perhaps have a little bit of choice within that, and it's not a either or situation. So that was awesome. Thanks for that, Jeff. Mr. Dan, why did you transition over to